We're here again in this corner to talk about horror movies. I find myself coming back to this corner a lot. You know, I was just here for There's Someone Inside Your House. I was here a few months ago for Fear Street. You know, like, feels good to be back. Or does it? Because, woof. Halloween Kills. I was going to try to make like a pun there, like a more like Halloween something, but it, like, literally, I can't. Like, I just can't, because it's just... That was a great review that I just did, but honestly, gotta get into it more. The metrics, the algorithms, you know the deal, YouTube. So here we go. Halloween Kills. This is the middle part of an apparent trilogy that picks up right after the 2018 Halloween reboot, something, redo. I don't know. Like, everyone's back. David Gordon Green is back as director. Shout out Little Rock. Little Rock does get a shout out, and it's hilarious. Danny McBride is back on script patrol. You know, Jason Blum's back on, producing. Jamie Lee Curtis is back, and we have some other returning people from the original Halloween. The person who played Lindsay is back. The little girl. The actress who played Marion, the nurse who is attacked by Michael after he escapes, she is back for some reason. The actor who played Lee Brackett is back, and he is old. Michael escapes. Sorry, spoiler alert for Halloween 2018. Michael escapes the fiery, tomb he's left in by Laurie and her daughter and her granddaughter. And he gets out, and he continues his rampage. Some other survivors of Michael Myers are trying to rally the town to kill him once and for all. I've got a lot to talk about with this movie. One of my biggest complaints of the last one, which I enjoyed, I really liked it, and even the more I watched it, I've watched it a few times since it came out. Can't believe that was, 3 years ago. It's a good movie. It just, there are times where Michael just doesn't feel like Michael, from the original movie. It's a brutal, brutal movie, and I let it go for the first one. This one just cranks that up, and it is it just feels unnecessary. And I know, I've read Twitter, I've read, I've read the internet, the whole internet, and I know you're gonna tell me, oh, it's a horror movie. What'd you expect? It's bloody and blah blah. And to that I'd say this doesn't it doesn't have the fun and the life of the original movies. I would even prefer watching The Curse of Michael Myers over this, because at least with that, I know I'm getting some fun and some creative kills. I know I'm getting, they're doing what they can with what they had. And that, I think, betters those movies. A lot of those movies are not great, but also this just felt cynical and even more than the first one, and it just feels yeah, you know what, we're gonna get real gnarly with some kills, and it is gonna be gross. And to me, that just doesn't, that's not kind of that thing that Carpenter kind of created. I love that, if you go back and watch the original, it's pretty tame in comparison. Yes, it's violent. There's not a ton of blood, and there's not we're left more wondering what's gonna happen versus, yeah, hey, he stabbed someone with a light bulb. It feels like someone's holding my head and being watch this, and I hate when horror movies do that. This movie is not fun. It is not a good time, and believe me, it gets worse. It is the characters are awful. The motivations are awful. Laurie is sidelined for a majority of this movie. She literally does nothing, and that's fine. if that's where the story's going, but you have to have better side characters, like lifting it up. You had to have someone come to the forefront and be the main character, and that's like another thing. I feel like Michael's the main character in this, which again is fine, but you have to commit to it. I love the idea of bringing survivors back. I do not like the idea of making them maniacs. Like, and I get it. It's talking about trauma and the way that people react to like major events in their lives, but I don't for a second believe that Tommy Doyle is now some crazy lunatic dude who's gonna just like lead a mob of people. It's not happening for me. Like, I don't see it. This had so much potential to really like talk about a survivor story, talk about the things, the impacts one night can have on a town, on a people, like for decades. But instead, it's like they came up with these concepts, and it's just a mess. It's like they're just trying to shove so much together, and it doesn't fit. And of course, this is just the middle chapter, so it ends a little bit on a cliffhanger, a strange cliffhanger, honestly. I love Halloween so much. I love watching the bad Halloween so much. I don't enjoy the Rob Zombie Halloweens. And that's how I kind of get this feel from this one. It's like the way it looks, the color grading, it's just a gross looking movie to me too. There's nothing that just like, that just makes me want to rewatch this, every year. I was really wanting to like this one. I was really rooting for this new series, and I think my biggest concern now is that just like Halloween set a precedent in the 70s for the slashers to come, a lot of them, that's to quote a Rolling Stone article, that's the Halloween survivors had a stone of like slasher movies. And I'm afraid that this Halloween movie will become, this new trilogy will unfortunately become the new kind of template for which we base these reboots and reimaginings on. And I'm just not ready. I'm not ready to see that. And horror should be fun. It should say something, but it should be a little fun. And I found myself not enjoying this movie at all. I'm gonna go 5 seasons of The Witch out of 10. And I know you're thinking that's not that bad of a rating. There are quality things in this. There are some enjoyable moments and sequences, but it just like it's not fun, and it kind of like loses the essence of Michael Myers and Halloween that I think like we have started to forgotten. I think that modern audiences have like really just latched onto this thing, and really it's like you're like no, that's not what made Halloween great. It's this part of it, the John Carpenter, Cody Carpenter like score, that at least gets like 3 points. That part is fantastic. If there's anything great about this movie, it is that. So yeah, 5 out of 10. Fingers crossed the next one is good.
Un esercito di